Hey guys, this is going to be our first project for today. I'm trying something new. I am trying paint inlays today. Now, I did try it once before and it was an epic fail, but I am not one to give up. So I'm going to try it on this huge pizza board. Now, paint inlays can be very scary for some people, including me. This is the paint inlay that I am using. IOD Trompe L'Oeil Bleu. And I know I butchered that, but, you know, I'm not French. I got these a couple years ago, so I don't even know if they still have them. But that's how long ago it was that I tried this. So the first thing I did is sand down my cutting board and wipe it off so there was no sawdust on it. Now, I am going to paint this board white. Hopefully I have enough white paint left. For the video, I will at least get the front done. So what you do is you put your first coat of paint on, let it dry. Then you put your second coat of paint on, kind of a little bit thicker. And then you're going to place the inlay on top of that paint. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get this painted with our first coat. All right, guys, I got my cutting board painted with a couple coats of my linen white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum. Now, these are the transfers that I'm going to be putting on. Okay, now, when you're applying transfers, the transfers go paint side down. So the grid should be facing you. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do my handle piece first. I just want to, yeah, okay. And then I'll be putting this one on like this. Just want to make sure that it's, centered. So let me get this one done first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some paint and I'm going to paint my handle. You want enough paint on there. Then you're going to spritz your paint and the painted side of your inlay, and then you're going to set it down in your paint. Then you're going to spritz it, and then you're going to take a paper towel and you are going to press the inlay down into your paint and dab off the excess water. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to turn it this way so I can make sure that I get it lined up. I hope that is, I don't know, guys, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared, but we're going to see what we can do here. Just putting my paint on. Making sure I have plenty of paint. Then I'm going to spritz my area. I'm going to spritz the paint side of the inlay. And then I'm going to place it paint side down on my board. You want to make sure you don't have wrinkles. And you do have a couple seconds to kind of, you know, put it down. Okay, and then you're going to mist it. And then dab it, pressing the inlay into your paint. Okay, now you have to let this dry. It usually takes about 30 minutes. And you'll know it's dry because this will not be dark anymore. It'll be like a cloudy white color. Okay, so this is dry. And you can see that it has turned a white color. That's how you know that your paint inlay is dry. All right, guys, the time has come to peel our inlays off. But before we do that, we need to re-moisten them with some water. Well, it's not as bad as the first time I did it. I don't know why I have such a hard time with inlays, but it's not as bad as the first time. Well, I don't know. That's not too bad, guys. I have areas that didn't, you know, the paint didn't transfer, but for the most part, it's not bad at all. So, I suggest, because these inlays do have to be sealed, I would wait 24 hours before sealing the inlays, because you risk smearing your paint inlay. And I also would suggest using a spray, a clear matte spray sealer or a polyacrylic sealer on this project when using inlays. Guys, I also wanted to mention that you can get 2 or 3 uses out of your paint inlays. Just know that every time you use it, the colors will get less vibrant. All right, everyone, so this has dried really well. I am going to do a little bit of distressing on my edges here with some sandpaper. I'm just using my little finger sander just to show a little bit of the wood again. So I've decided on the other side of this board to put this beautiful piece of decoupage paper on here. I will have to see where I purchased this. If I can find it, I will put it in the description box. So all I'm going to do is decoupage this on. I have already cut it out to fit my board. And I'm going to grab out some liquid patina. Now up here, I did tear my paper because I am going to try and match up my scraps to go all the way up the handle of this board. So I didn't want it to be a straight edge there. All right, let me grab out a brush, and I'm going to need a piece of cling wrap. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a starter strip. I think I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. I know this is not enough. I'll have to add some more. And I always try to work from the center and work my way to the sides. As I've said in past videos, I am not the best at decoupage, but I find the more I do it, the better I get. All right. I don't know why this gets plugged up on me. And now I am going to put a coat of my liquid patina over the entire piece. This way, I figured you could turn the board over and have two different looks. I like to do that a lot with the cutting boards. All right. So I decided not to go all the way up with my decoupage paper. Instead, I am just going to try to blend my color here. I have a little bit of Dixie Belle's drop cloth left. I think I have enough that I can just dab it on and try and blend it a little bit. I know I'm going to have to probably use some other, some other colors mixed in with it. It looks like there's like some green or something like that. So I'm just going to start by doing this. And I'm doing a dabbing motion because it'll help me to blend better. So I'm going to need a little bit of a green color to try to mix with this drop cloth. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Kind of. You just have to play around with it till you get your colors to match as good as you can. And you gotta kind of come down on the paper a little bit so that it blends in. So I'm going to finish blending the handle, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, everyone, this next project, I have had this planter, bucket, whatever you want to call it. I have had it in my stash for probably 2 years now, and it's time I got rid of it. And the color I have chosen, because I'm thinking spring, is this folk art. It's called Cascade chalk paint. And so I stirred it up really well. And I'm going to take a brush and I am going to paint, I'm not going to paint this rim or this bottom rim. I'm just going to paint in between, and I'm going to leave the handles black. And it's probably going to take a couple coats to get the coverage that I want. So let's get painting. All right, guys, while I'm waiting for this metal planter to dry, I'm going to mold some of these beautiful birds. This is the IOD mold, and it's called Bird Song. And they are the most beautiful molds. They are highly detailed. And if you've never used molds before, you just dust them with a little bit of cornstarch, which helps the air dry clay to release from the mold. And I think I'm going to do this one as well. You don't need tons of cornstarch, just a little dusting. Oh, let me see. I think I'll do this guy. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them, but we'll see, because I'm not sure what I'm doing. I know one thing, I do have to get out some more clay. All right, so we'll do this one first. So you just press it in. Then you can use your thumbs to take the excess away. I normally don't do it this way because I'm not good at it. I normally use my polymer clay blade that I have to get rid of the excess clay. But I'll show you what I mean. Here it is. And I just run it along and, pull up the excess. But you can do it any way that is most comfortable for you. All right. And then I'm trying to get rid of this excess clay that's in between here, so I don't have stuff to clean up off of the mold, extra clay. All right, and then we will turn it upside down and let gravity drop it out. So this is the way I usually do it. I press the clay in there. And it's kind of hard, the first one, because the clay wants to lift out because of the cornstarch. But see, this is the way I like to do it. It's much easier, and it's easier on my thumbs, which y'all know I have issues with. Hence, I just recently had surgery. So and there it is. And then you'll just want to clean up like this excess clay that's sticking out. Just tap it in with your fingers, like so. Okay, I'm going to mold the rest of these birds, and then we'll come back and we'll get them put on to our planter. All right, I've molded my birds. I'm not sure what I'm putting on what side or anything like that. But I do know I am going to start with the largest bird first. So I'm going to take my Tight Bond Quick and Thick glue to glue these on, and a paintbrush. Now, these molds are a little bit delicate, so you have to be very careful with these. All right. We'll get our glue on. Make sure to get the edges really well. If any of the pieces break off, you can very easily reattach them. And you also want to make sure to wipe off any excess glue that, you know, might seep out from underneath your clay. You see I got a mess right over here. So I will take a wet wipe and clean that off. But just make sure that you gently press down all areas to make sure that every bit of the bird is touching your planter. I have another channel, by the way, everyone. It's a thrifting channel, and I do thrift haul videos on it, live sales, shop-alongs. Occasionally, I'll do like cooking and baking. Okay, so this is what I decided to go with on this side. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the other side yet, but for now, this is what I have come up with. What I'm going to do is I am going to paint these birds while they're still wet. Now, they have been starting to dry a little bit, which is perfect. You don't want to paint them immediately because they're still very soft and you don't want to ruin any of the details. So when you do paint these, when they're still wet, you want to use a soft brush with a very light hand. So I'm going to use, I have this really soft brush here. This is actually like a makeup brush. And I'm going to paint these with Dixie Belle's Buttercream chalk paint. So I'm just very gently going to start painting these, trying to be very careful. I really should have just painted them before I put them on here, because this is what happens. Look, you get paint where you don't want it. But I can go near the edges with a smaller brush, or just, you know, touch it up with my color of my planter. It's not a big deal. All right, I'm going to paint my other two birds, and we're going to let this dry. And then we'll come back and do the next step. All right, so my castings have dried. There was some cracking, which I did fill in with some air dry clay. And as you can see, I have decided to add some transfers. I did have a few of these butterflies, so I did put one here, and now I am going to use some of these florals from the IOD Fairy Tale Floral transfer book. So I am going to put this transfer right over here on this side, the other side of the bird. Now, if you are not familiar with transfers, they are very easy to use. All you're going to do, let me move these down a little bit, just down a little bit more so you can see. All you do is peel the transfer off of the backing sheet, and you just place it where you want it to go on your item. just being careful that you have it exactly where you want it, because usually once it's down, it's down. And then you are going to take your transfer tool, which comes with your booklet of transfers, and you are going to rub across the entire transfer, being sure to hold it in place as you're rubbing. Once you have gone over it, the whole thing, then you can lift up a corner and start picking up as you are rubbing. If you see part of the transfer has not transferred, you just lay your sheet back down and continue to rub until it is on your surface. There we go. Then you take your sheet and you burnish it in to make sure there's no wrinkles or bubbles. And there it is. I'm going to move to the other side, and I am going to add these two. I'm going to put one here and then one over here. Now, as you can see, for some reason, this transfer, it pulled up my paint. Now, this paint has dried for like 2 days. So I don't understand why that happened. But it's still stuck on my transfer sheet. So I'm going to try and get it off with a straight razor. And see if I can put it on with a glue stick. So I'm just going to take a brush and put some glue here. Get that paint off. And see if I can stick it down. To fix it. Well, there it is. I'll have to touch up around here with some more paint, but at least it didn't ruin the whole project. So I'm not quite sure why that happened, but I wanted to keep it in the video so I can show you that things do happen that you don't expect. And there are ways to fix them. I've got all my transfers on. Now I am just going to take a tiny brush and fix this area right here. I'm just going to go around and paint that area. You certainly wouldn't want to trash a whole project just because of something tiny like that. You know, there are ways around it. All right, I am going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go back in and do another coat until it's not noticeable anymore. Then it'll be time to seal everything in. So what I'm now going to do is just seal everything in. Now, I am trying something new. It's made by Scorch Marker, and it's called Maker's Magic, and it's a matte finish. It's a glue, a sealer, a finish, and a decoupage medium. So we'll see how this works. Take one of my bigger brushes here. And we're just gonna start sealing everything in, including our birds, because I am going to antique those with some aging wax, I do believe. And this dries pretty quickly, it looks like. Oh no, it's bubbling my paint. It is bubbling my paint. What in the world? Oh, this is not good. But guess what? I've already started. I'm just going to continue and finish it. It could be because of the surface, maybe because it's metal. And it did have something under the paint. I don't know what it was, but there was something under the paint. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna let it dry because it's only happening in this area right here. I'm going to let it dry and see what happens. I have sealed this entire piece, including my bird molds. So now I am going to bring out all the details in the birds using some Fusion's aging wax. And I love this for antiquing. Just making something look a little bit older and bringing out all of the details. I may also go over the rest of this planter with it as well. I haven't decided yet. We're going to see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. Look at that. Look how it brings out those details. I don't think I'm going to put any on the rest of the planter. I think I like it just like it is. Oh, yeah. That looks great. All right. I am going to finish the other birds on the other side. And then I will share with you the finished product. I wanted to show you where I had that issue with the sealer. I do believe it was from whatever was underneath the black paint. So as you can see, it is, the paint is coming off here. So all I could do is try to reseal over that. I'm not really sure if that's exactly what happened, but the whole rest of the planter was perfectly fine. It was just that one little area that I had an issue with. So I just wanted to share that with you all. All right, friends, this project is going to be something a little different. I picked up this Foley 5-cup sifter with the intentions of either doing an assemblage in it or a floral arrangement. And I've decided to do a floral arrangement in here. But first, I'm going to paint it. And I'm going to use Dixie Belle's Chalk Mineral Paint in the color Farmhouse Green. I absolutely love this color. It screams spring. So let's get painting. So after I finished painting this with 2 coats, I did seal it in with a clear matte sealer. Now what I'm going to do is start putting some florals in here. Now, I did put in some of this green foam that I purchased at Dollar Tree. I love this stuff. I like it a lot better than using that really hard green foam. I like this a lot better. I'm also going to end up putting some Spanish moss on top of this so that you don't see it. So I've got a variety of different color florals sitting here on my workspace. And let me tell you, I did take a couple of floral arranging classes. And we were always taught that you start in the middle with your tallest piece. So I will start with, let's see, what do I want to put here? I'm going to put a couple of these. I'm going to push up my leaves here. And I'm going to cut off, let me get my wire cutters here. I'm going to cut off a little bit off the bottom. You always want to start with your tallest piece in the middle. And you always want to go and put, it's kind of like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. That's how I usually will start mine off. Whatever you do on the right, you want to do on the left. Whatever you do in the front, you want to do in the back. So I'm actually going to add another one of this in the middle as well, because this is very skimpy. You know, there's like only one flower on there, so I'm going to add another one to make it look a little bit better. And then I will move on to the outside. And I do have some very pretty pink, these pretty pink flowers. So I'm going to put a couple of these on the side. Like this. And I always like to have them cascading outwards. Let me get another one, another pink one. Cut that down. Okay, now I want to do something in the front here at 6 o'clock and then back here at 12 o'clock. Now I'm going to fill in with some others. Now I do have some pretty white flowers here, which I am going to add in here as well. So now you want to start, if this is your tallest flower in the middle, you want to do just a little bit shorter when you're filling in than your tallest center flower. And now I have some of these really pretty little yellow flowers here. Let me show you. And I think the yellow will really set it off. So I think I am going to use this whole stem, and I think I am going to add it to the center just above these purple ones. Like that. And then I'll add a couple more in between, like over here. And another one on the other side, over here. All right, guys, after I put my flowers in, I decided to, I'm going to put this transfer on. You know me, I always come up with things after the fact. So I am going to put this rub-on transfer on. And this transfer is from the IOD booklet called Fairy Tale Florals. So I just want to make sure that I get this centered as best as I can. Okay, and then I'm going to take my transfer tool and I'm going to start down here on the bottom because this is rounded here. Try to get it stuck down. It's very hard to do transfers on a round surface. I have not mastered it fully yet, but I do try. And I had thought about distressing it, but I'm just going to leave it. I like it the way it is. All right, let's see. How is this? Oh, we're not stuck all the way over here. And that, I think that really looks great like that. So now I just have to seal this in with whatever, sealer. I could use wax or polyacrylic sealer. And then this project is completed.